Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Grae Area podcast. And so yeah, if this is your first time joining us, this is a podcast about whatever we feel like talking about. It could be anything from love, life, music, movies, TV, mostly life and stuff like that. But I'm Shaquaya D, and I have with me
Being Breeze.
It's your boy Damani.
And we also have a special guest today. We have with us the legendary, marvelous Madam Press, aka, or I guess your actual name is
my actual name.
Yeah.
Also known as
Sierra. I'm not gonna do your full name.
Sierra's fine.
Okay, because I can't do your whole name because you tell everybody your whole name anyways.
Hi, my name is Sierra Smalls.
That's how you introduce yourself? With your whole name?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's professional.
Very.
Sometimes I do my middle name.
I was gonna do the middle name. That's why I
Hi,
was
my
like,
name is Sierra Nicole Smalls.
That's why I was like, I don't know if she wants to do the full thing or okay.
Gotta go hard or go home.
We have Sierra Nicole Smalls here with us today in the Grae Area, and we're really excited because she's our first guest.
I'm excited to be here.
So, as you can see, we're in a new location, slightly different setup.
Sound like.
Please don't mind the sound effects. Yeah, we're in a new location. Just trying something new out for today.
Yeah, but here we are. Hey guys, how are you?
Good. Still
Okay.
trying to wrap my head around the whole name.
The whole
My
name.
whole name?
Introduction. Not the whole name, but like,
Oh.
hey, my name is
Mm-hmm.
instead of, hey, I don't even tell people my name.
What do you say?
What do you say?
What's up?
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
How do you introduce yourself?
I'm just like, hey, same thing actually. I never actually don't usually start with my
Hey,
name.
yo,
I'm just
Devon.
like, hey,
Yo,
yeah.
Devon. Nah, I just like, what's up? Start talking.
And
Or
then
just start
Like-
talking.
Like when you're introducing yourself to new people?
actually, it depends, right? So
It
if we
depends
go
on
in,
the situation.
yeah, because if we go in like, all right, hey, it's like if somebody's introducing us,
Mhm.
then of course they say I usually be like Damani, and I'm shaking their hand, which is really weird because I never remember the person's name if I do that because I'm focusing on trying to make sure I don't forget my own name.
Right.
But that's not here.
Relatable.
Yeah, but if we're just like, if I'm just meeting you like casually, I just might be like, hey, and then if we get to our names, it's like, hey, did I, by chance, what's your name? It's like, oh yeah, okay, my name is, just wanted to say hi, and that's it.
But you only say Damani.
Yeah, I don't ever say my last name.
So if you're in a setting like that where you're introducing yourself to somebody,
Devontae.
like you just say Devontae.
Yeah.
No middle name, no last name, no nickname. Just Devontae.
Yeah, I just say Shaquaya.
Okay, so
It's
now
no
you say it
judgment.
like that. No, it's
no
fine. In those settings, I do just say, hi, my name is Sierra. But if it's like, I don't know, like a professional
Professional
or
setting,
if
yeah.
I'm like presenting something, then I will say my whole name because I also sign my whole name.
Yeah, I just signed my first and last name.
I say Shaquaya D. Brown if it's a professional setting. And
If it's a professional, Devontae.
Yeah.
Non-professional, what's up?
First name, yeah. First name basis, that's it.
okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, I always say my middle name because, well, not my middle name, my middle initial. Don't give them the full name. I give them the initial.
That's smart.
Yeah, and I'm just like, make sure you add that initial in there. It's
Right.
important. But
One time a teacher told me she thought my name was like a stage name. Like she thought it was fake.
cause you have a really nice name, like it's really like it's distinct,
Yeah, I think it just flows. Like, and I
Yeah.
have to say the whole thing.
and you always say the whole thing.
Right.
So it's weird for me when you don't say the whole thing. So, but I wasn't sure how you were feeling today. So, because I was gonna say Sierra Nicole Smalls.
Well, I appreciate that. You guys know me so well. Oh my gosh.
So this is Sierra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you
Welcome.
know how she introduces herself to the
Yes.
world.
Welcome to the Grae Area.
All right, what we talking about today?
Change is first.
Yeah, change is first. So the question that I had for you guys was, I mean, it's like 2 or 3 questions, but so 1 is change necessary, right? And then 2, how often do you feel like you change?
1, I feel like change is very necessary. You can't go without change. And 2, I feel like I change. I feel like I change like weekly, bi-weekly. Whenever I get a check. Whenever I
I change every paycheck.
every paycheck. I want to change every day though, but
Yeah, I want to say that I change every day, but I feel like I change frequently. But like, what type of change are you referring to? Are you talking about like, as far as, I guess I don't want to say personality traits, but like, yeah, personality wise, like as far as like, what are you saying?
I mean, yeah, I guess personality wise, like you as a person, it's more so I guess subjective, but because all right, we talk about like people changing, like your friends changing, like them not being the same individuals that they were before. So it's like, how often do you feel like you change?
I guess every few weeks. Not when I get my paycheck, but I do act a little bit different when my paycheck comes in. But like, I feel like every few weeks, maybe. I know I was talking to our cousin, and he was saying, you know, life happens in cycles, like 21-day cycles. So every 21 days, it's kind of like you shedding the old you and starting a new chapter. So it might be kind of like that. I never really thought about like how exact timeline of how often I change that. Your turn.
I have thought of exact timelines.
Really?
Yeah, I think at one point I felt like I was changing like every 4 years. So I think I first noticed it when I was a junior in high school.
Okay.
And then when I was a junior in undergrad, and then 4 years after that.
Okay.
Almost on like a school schedule.
Yeah.
Like every
Yeah.
4 years, like you transition to a new school, like middle school, that kind of thing.
Right. But I don't think I was changing, like becoming a completely different person. I think I was just growing into who I am now. So like I was still changing, but like parts of me are still the same, just obviously more mature.
Right.
That's interesting.
Don't side
No,
from the question.
I was getting ready. I was getting ready to answer. I was gonna say I want to say I change daily, but I guess on the outside, for everybody else, it wouldn't seem like that. But I think internally, I feel like I'm changing daily. So like I'll learn something new every day, and so, or I'm challenging something that I thought I knew the day before. So let me I learned something this day. Let me like exercise it this the next day,
Okay.
and so. Before I realize it, like when I look up, I'm like, oh snap! I'm doing totally different things. My diet is different. The things that I believe is totally different. So I mean, I think I'm changing daily. When I notice the change, typically is I think a week to week basis. I guess just because when you're doing it, you're just kind of like laser focused in, and you don't really look up.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh snap! I didn't even realize I took 30 steps. Like. If we're just talking about race, like I took 30 steps and I didn't realize I took 30 steps. I was just focused on the first step. But the main reason I asked that about the change thing is because, so does it bother you then if you feel like you change, whether it's every 4 years, whether it's weekly, every paycheck, whatever, does it bother you then when other people aren't receptive to how much you changed?
Yes.
Yeah, it don't bother me no more.
I feel like it still bothers me a little bit. It depends on who it is. Like if it's my family, then I'm like, because I don't necessarily want you to still keep treating me like I'm 5 years old. So I'm like, listen, I've changed. I don't even do these things anymore. I don't like these things anymore. But if it's just like, I mean, I guess anybody else, I don't really think about it as much because Yeah, I just don't really think about it as much. But I feel like my family are the people who, I guess, see me in a certain way much more than other people do. I feel like, I guess they have me in more of a box than other people do.
Okay. So, that's interesting. So, something that I realize that I do a lot of times with my friends is that when I'm meeting them, it almost feels like I have no clue who the person I'm going to meet is going to be after. So do you expect them to change to the same degree that you're changing, or do you expect them to change a lot by like in between the times that you've seen them and not seen them?
I don't be expecting them to change. I don't really think about them changing. I'll be wanting everything to still be like good. But if it's not good, it's like it don't bother me as much as it did. Like if everything not the same, it doesn't bother me as much as it used to. I think I care a lot less, and I'm comfortable within myself enough to know that it's not me, and know everything is not for everything. So it's like, hey, I love you, but it's not working out.
I don't know. I feel like you expect people to change, but it's like you don't really know how they changed or how they grew, or even sometimes like what experiences they went through while you weren't with them. So I feel like I don't necessarily really expect much, because I don't expect you to grow how I grew or the same amount that I grew, because your life is different than mine, right? And even same thing like him, it's like, if I hope that when we meet again or when we see each other again, everything is good. Like we just back like we never left, basically. But if it's not, I don't have no ill will against you, but I recognize, either I changed so much that this doesn't work for me, or it doesn't serve my highest good anymore, or either maybe you changed so much that I was like, it's just still not serving my highest good, or we're just growing in two opposite directions, or I just don't like what you're doing now. Or sometimes you haven't grown and I've grown, and I'm just like, I can't be in this space anymore. So I mean, I feel like it would be selfish of me to expect somebody else to change as much as I did, because I don't know what your journey is for real.
Right. I think everybody has their own paths, and like you said, it might be taking you in two different directions.
Right.
And you don't have to change the same way that I'm changing. If that change does kind of lead us apart, then that's okay. Because I think the same thing can be said for like friendships that you've had, when you were younger, or like in elementary school. Like you're not as close, or maybe you are, but for a lot of people, you're not as close to those friends anymore because you've grown apart, or you've gone in different directions, and then you find new people to grow with, and maybe you've also kind of branched off from those people too.
Right.
But I think no matter the direction that you go in, you always kind of find people who are growing, maybe not necessarily on your path, but maybe like alongside you.
Right.
You gotta want to change too. So like, granted, as time goes on, you're going to change, but to grow at a rate or change at a rate that a lot of people changing now, it gotta be intentional. That's deep. We're talking.
Oh man.
But yeah, you're right, because you have to welcome the change. Because sometimes people just don't want to change.
And be like comfortable with it.
Right. Yeah, and it's like you can't do anything about that. As much as you want people to do better or change for the better or whatever it is, you can't make them want it. And if they don't want it, it's not gonna happen.
So bless. So interesting, right? Because I think the relationship between change, right, and consistency is funny, right? Because how often are you supposed to change if you want to be consistent? right? How like where is the balance between being consistent, doing something consistently, and then knowing when to change?
But changing doesn't necessarily mean stop doing what
you
you're
were
doing. It could just be going to a different level. So like if you're working out, you might start with doing 10 push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And then that change, okay, now I'm doing 15 push-ups. So it's like, when I think of change, I don't think of like just switching and doing something else. I think of like upgrading, like going to the next level, like just walking up the steps. Like to get all the way upstairs, you gotta walk up to the next step. Like, yeah, so it's just like changing where you're at. Whether that's mentally, physically. I do this for a living. Talk to me. Yeah, what's this? Mentally, physically, emotionally, you just go up to that next level. I like that.
I agree, but also I do think change is sometimes literally like changing something completely. Because sometimes the change that's needed is you changing from doing something that wasn't benefiting you, or changing from maybe procrastinating or not believing in yourself. And I think change and consistency go hand in hand, because like you are consistently changing. Like you make the commitment to consistently change, whether it be you just growing or it be you literally, all right, I'm just going to stop this. I'm going to completely change what I'm doing. It's still, you have to be, like you said, intentional about it, because if you're really actually changing, it's a commitment every day to like, okay, I'm going to stay on this path of change. Or you going to be like, all right, I think this was cool for a few days, but I think I'm going to go back to doing whatever I was doing. Let's revert back to those 10 push-ups. I think that was a good spot for me. You know, so I think it's both things.
Yeah, and the reason I brought it up, because it's, again, the relationship between being consistent and changing is like, it's funny because sometimes you don't know that you need the change until you do something for a specific amount of time over. Like, so you're doing something and it's like, I didn't realize that I was doing it wrong until I did it for 100 days straight. And then it's all right, now I have a better view of it. So it's funny because again, we preach consistency, but it's like doing the same thing. A lot of times if you're doing the same thing over and over, the first thing people say is like, oh, you're not changing, you're staying stagnant, but you're also telling people, hey, you have to change, so you have to change consistently. But I mean, I think you did a good job explaining it. But
it's also like, while you're doing something consistently, you're consistently learning at the same time. So you have to change at some point. Like if you keep doing the same thing, you're learning more. So now it's like it's easier to like know when to change or shift or do something different or something that'll help you get to where you're going quicker. You might meet somebody and they boom. I don't know if that makes sense, but
great imagery.
like having an epiphany.
I mean, you like along the way you're learning. So I don't even remember where I was going, but you're learning. Along the way you're learning. So you're going to change.
The change is inevitable.
Yeah.
So and I guess So next question. Do you feel like you always change at the same rate, or do you feel like now you have a better ability to change faster, slower? Do you feel like, like is it one of the? Do you feel like it was different before? You feel like you were changing a lot faster when you were younger? Do you feel like you were changing a lot faster now, or do you not notice the difference?
I don't notice the difference at the moment.
That's fair.
I was trying to think about my timeline. Just I don't know if I'm still on my 4-year track, but I think I've changed recently. Like, again, still staying the same person, but just growing a little bit more, getting to know myself better as a young adult in my late 20s.
You said late.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
in my late 20s, because I'm not the same person that I was when I was 23. which is crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Because it feels like it was just yesterday.
Yes.
Dang. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
No, that's all right. No, you gotta.
But change happens,
Yeah.
you know? So sometimes you're not ready for it, and then sometimes, you know, things happen where it kind of pushes you into that mode where you're like I'm not the same person anymore. I can handle things differently. I'm thinking about things differently. You know, I have different people around me. So I think that's where I'm at right now.
I don't know. I feel like it depends on what I'm doing. Like, me right now being intentional, like about certain aspects of change in my life, I feel like it depends on where my focus is, because I feel like although we grow, I guess every day we grow in different areas of our lives in different ways. So I feel like it really depends on what I'm actually paying attention to as far as growth or change in my life. So I think it kind of varies. I feel like I've changed a lot over the past year, like a lot. We changed our diet. I changed a lot of spiritual beliefs and stuff like that. So it's like I feel like I've been changing fairly quickly lately. But still, I think there are other parts of my life that it's been like a slower type of change. So I think it depends. What about you, Damani?
I think and now I got another question too. I think I didn't notice how much I was changing when I was younger. I think it was more so I was changing. I could have been changing at the same rate, but I think now I'm just hyper aware of every change now. So it's whether it's just the change in my mindset, my mood, like just how I wake up, when I go to sleep, and all of that little stuff. So I don't know if it just felt faster, or if it felt, I don't know if it felt different when I was younger, but I just know I wasn't as aware of it when I was younger. Now I'm a lot more aware of it. The question that I had though, do you feel like school gave you enough room for change, like consistent change? Do you feel like that when you were in school you had enough time to change, or do you feel like now because we're not in school, you're almost forced to change every day?
Yeah, I feel like school didn't give me the room to change, just because at the end of the day it's still like there's only so much you can do. It's still like a certain construct that you have to abide by. So it's not like, I think we was talking about this like last week or something, like it's a blank. Now when I wake up, my day is a blank. It's like whatever I choose to do during that day. Granted, it was the same back then, but it was like, okay, I gotta go to class. I gotta practice now. It's like stuff that's already blocked off. Now it's like a blank sheet of paper. All right, what we doing today? Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I feel like doing something that'll provoke change, I can do something that provokes change. If I don't, like, nobody pushing me to do anything except me at the end of the day. Before it's like maybe the coaches coming to the class, making sure you, like, they might check your attendance in the classes, and you got or you got study hall now. So it's like they put certain things in place so you can improve. But now it's like everything is up to me. So like I'm forced to change. Long story less long, I'm forced to change due to the freedom that I had. Free will. If I will say.
Dad jokes. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't know if I don't know. I also went to Catholic school. So I don't know if that had like a different impact on like how I saw myself, or like how they kind of brought us up within like our school. Because I feel like for the most part we weren't necessarily seen as individuals. You were always seen as like the whole. And I think they always had like expectations for everyone, you know, in each grade that you go through. So I guess like in a sense, like maybe yes, because you're like advancing throughout the grades, so you obviously like you're growing and you're changing. But I don't know if they help to facilitate our change. You know,
I feel like it was probably more like for all school, it's like a more structured way of like you can change because of course you're getting older, but also like change within these these confines. And that's okay, rather than really exploring who you are. I feel like in college you have a little bit more room to grow, but at the end of the day, school is about school.
Right.
So like when you're in school, even if you're like growing and changing, it's only so much you can do that because you're so focused on school. Like you still are trying to pass. Like even if you're failing your classes or something like that, you're not paying attention. It's like you at some point you're like, oh snap, I don't want to get kicked out of school. Let me focus on school, and then you're putting your time into that rather than putting your time into yourself. So I feel like in some ways it can, but it's literally within a certain structure. Like you can't really explore yourself, find yourself, or change, like I guess to your fullest potential really while you're in school. But stay in school, guys, like, you know, it's important. It's
we all finished.
We did. We all actually graduated. If it's not for you,
that's
then
okay.
don't worry about it. You know, but if it is for you, stay in school. Actually, just at least get through high school. Like, don't stay. Yeah, if it's not for you, just at least get through high school. That's what I'm saying.
It's funny because it's funny, right? Here you mentioned that you feel like you're forced to change more now that you're out of school, right? I feel like most people would say the opposite. I feel like most people would say that they feel like they wouldn't have many opportunities to change because you're waking up, you're going to work, you're doing the exact same thing, so there's less opportunities to change. So it's just interesting.
I feel like it's more responsibility, but to get where I want to go, I have to change. I have to change to be where I want to be. So, like, I have to change like consistently, and so before it was like in school, like school not hard. It's just school.
And that's the other thing. Some people aren't challenged when they're in school. So like if you're not being challenged, you're not really growing. So it's like, but you're focusing still all your time or most of your time on something that's not challenging you or not helping you grow. So it's like.
But I did learn the importance of community, because school wasn't hard, but the community of people are the reason why.
You enjoy school?
Nah.
You dislike school?
Passed.
Oh, okay, that too. That too, okay.
Like, hold up, not enjoyed it. Enjoyed is not the word.
Like, my friends was the only reason that I enjoyed it. Like, getting by part of school. It's like, all right, that's the only part of the day to look forward to outside of like maybe my one favorite class out of the 7 this year or whatever that I'm gonna take. It's like it was the people that were around that kind of made the difference.
Yeah, I liked school until 8th grade. I used to like going to school. And then it was like, it's the same thing. Bored.
Yeah. But I think some people would say the same thing for life outside of school. Some people would say that you get out of school and then it's like, again, am I living or am I just existing? Right?
I was also gonna say, because like, even with that, furthering that, but I wonder if it's because we are, well, you are a therapist, so, but you're also creative, so anyways, never mind, I'm gonna continue what I'm saying. So because we are like artists and pursuing like I guess not a standard path, and you're also not pursuing a standard path technically because of where you specialize in therapy. I wonder if that's why we feel more challenged outside of school, because it's like if we're not doing we're not doing like the same old. Like, yeah, sometimes we have day-to-day stuff, but it's a lot of different things thrown out at us throughout our day, or a lot of different changes or opportunities that we create, or we have to go out and figure out how to create, because we're not just working the regular or pursuing like a regular standard job or desk job, career, whatever it is. So I wonder if that's why we find that we're able to explore more, change more, because we are, I guess, I don't know what the end of my sentence was. But we're creating our chances to grow. Like, even with you going to this conference, the conference was already happening, but you created the opportunity for you to even go to it, and you're taking tools from that to apply into your regular services. So like stuff like that, a lot of people don't do that. They're just going through the motions. Yes, existing, and they're fine with that, or are they fine with that? Dun dun dun.
I be feeling like I just be existing sometimes.
Wow. I definitely do too.
Really?
I just like.
I guess I do sometimes. Like, now that I think about it, I guess that's normal. But why?
I just do. Like, I just be existing. Like, I just be here. It's tired sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it though. I think the only thing that's wrong with it is if you stay in a place where you feel like you're not living. Because I think you can live every day. I think you should live every day. But I think sometimes the kind of like the low, like the in-between portions where you're just kind of existing, it's like, I don't want to say it builds character, because that sounds but it does though, because it's like sometimes you don't notice like how long you've been doing the same thing until you're like, you wake up one day, you're like, dang, what have I been doing? I've been on autopilot for 3 months. Like, I didn't, like, let me get back on track. So yeah, I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with it. Do I think people stay and just live in existence? Like, they existing portion? Yeah, absolutely. But
what does existing look like for you guys?
I'm just here. Like, I'm just...
Or what does it feel like?
It feels like I don't have... Granted, I don't have control, but it feels like I've accepted what society said I'm supposed to do. That's what existing feels like to me. Like, just accepting.
I feel like existing for me, it just feels like I'm running out of time and running out of money. And I start trying to figure out ways to, like, rather than focusing on what I actually should be doing or creating what I want to create, I just start going into, like, I guess panic mode and start, okay, let me do this because this will give me this, like, I could do this on the side real quick. I get some money from this, and then I could go over here and do this, and then I lose complete sight of what I was actually working on, and then, like, I know it's like something that I know will actually benefit me in the long run, and it's what I actually want to do, but I'll get completely sidetracked, and then I might, find a new job, or like, it's just like that. It's like a panic mode for me. But sometimes it takes me a little while to actually realize that, oh snap, that's where my mind just went. So then, like, sometimes it takes me like a few days, sometimes it takes me like 2 weeks. Now I'm a lot quicker about it, but that's what existing feels like, a panic state of lack of money, the lack mindset. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's largely one, feeling like I'm stuck, like there's like no options, which kind of goes to the like lack of control, right? But yeah, it's the stuck feeling, and then the feeling like I have no clue what I'm doing, like there's no attention behind what I'm doing. So it's like I'm doing stuff, and then I'll be like, I'll begin to snap into or snap out of it and be like what am I doing? I have no plan for anything. It's like, how did I get here? And I think that's a lot of the times for me, the feeling of existing is just kind of being in limbo, like not really knowing what exactly is going on. and I think I try to live every day, but I mean, I don't. Every day feels different. I wake up and feel different every single day. Mm-hmm. So it's like for me to try and live the exact same way I did the day before. It's like I'm looking for a rehearsal. It's like I can't. Mm-hmm. It's like life isn't as much. It's a movie, right? It's our personal movie, but can't wake up and expect this day to be exactly like the last day. Mm-hmm. So
unless you're stuck in one of those movies that's on like a little time loop.
Groundhog.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're ever just existing?
I feel, as of recently, a little bit of both. I feel like I have been existing for many years. And I think as of recently, it's just popped into my mind that I can live.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Seriously.
You're sleep.
No, but seriously, it's like, I don't know what happened. I feel like I just like took a step back and I was like, I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Be like, life doesn't have to be like
this. Life does not have to be this way.
Like, I'm walking forward and something just like,
whoa. Yeah. Almost like you step out of your body. Right? It's like, oh shit. Wait, is that me? Do I look like that today?
Right.
Whoa.
It's like,
whoa. Right. Like, hey, yo, let's get back.
Right. No, you're good. It's like that. Have you guys seen Doctor Strange?
Mm-hmm.
So
she like,
when she like
astral
projection.
Yeah.
I'm floating, looking at me, and I'm like, wow. I don't have to do any of this. Like I can do, like knowing that I can do what I want, but trying to get myself out of that existing
pattern.
Like the pattern. So like I still do the things that I feel that I should do, or feel like, you know, the world has told me that I am, and that, you know, what I should do, especially like my family, being a career student. You know, you know, and it's just like, I think also as you get older and you're changing, right, you realize that you may not have total control over your life, but you can have some control, and the little things that you can control can push you towards living. And it doesn't have to be something, you know, like grand. Like you don't have to move across the country and like start a whole new life unless that's what you want to do. That's your business.
You can choose to smile.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to wake up a little bit earlier every day, or, you know, like you said, like, you know, walk a little bit further to the top of the steps, or if you want to do like 5 extra push-ups, like it's, you're pushing yourself, you're changing yourself from existing to living just a little bit. And like change doesn't happen overnight, you know, like you definitely have to practice and be consistent, you know, and be motivated and determined to change your own life and kind of do that 180. So yeah, I'm a little in limbo. I'm astral projecting, looking at myself right now, looking at, you know, what the possibilities are.
And I think that's also cool. Like for me, I know one of the times where I'm able to realize it again is like, because you don't, most of the time you don't know you're existing until you step back, right? Yeah. And your astral projection or whatever, astral projection. Golly, wow. So what was
like
happening? What was happening? I needed some water. I think one of the things that helped me, one of the things that I noticed about myself when I am like reassessing my life is a lot of times I notice that everything is just a suggestion. Like all of the job stuff, I'll be at work and somebody was like, "Hey, you have to do this," and it's like, I mean, I don't have to do anything. Like it would behoove me. It's a suggestion, right? I'm supposed to do this, but then it's like that's something that's something that I noticed about myself, that I'll start paying attention to. Like, all right, I don't actually have to do this, and then it's like, all right, now my level of caring, it's like I'm doing it because I want to be nice, as opposed to me just doing it and not thinking about why I'm doing it. So it's like, now I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, yeah, can you do that? I can. I don't necessarily I don't have to show up here at 8. I don't have to be here. But
I'll give you at 8:02. Second.
I got a question.
and nobody gonna say nothing. Nobody gonna say a word. But go ahead, my man.
Where did you learn the word behoove? Behoove?
I have no clue. Like I think it's such an old school word. Like I think my nana might have said it to me one time, and like it would behoove you because it's like it's like it's like one of those like, hey, it would be in your best interest to do this, but I don't know.
That word funny. And you put so much emphasis on it.
Because it's just a
I
fun
don't
word.
think you could say it.
Yeah, it would
think
behoove you. Like you gotta say it like you're from Baltimore, just behoove.
Behoove.
That's
You too.
Oh man.
Living or existing.
So what does living look like for you guys?
Whatever I feel like doing. Living for me is more of being in the present and like enjoying whatever is happening right now. It's like intentionally enjoying what's happening right now.
Okay. I like that.
That's fire. I agree.
Yo, heard that right? It's fire.
Yeah. Nah, I definitely it's fire. I think living is also like being whatever you're being when you're doing whatever you're doing. Like whatever I'm doing, like, and like you said, enjoying it. But more so, like just if I'm in the moment that I'm taking a picture of somebody, like today, right? Taking a picture, right? I could just be taking a picture and not caring. Like, all right, I don't really care. I'm never gonna see this person. Or I could, in the moment, I'm being a photographer, and it's like I think that a lot of that is. I think a lot of living is in that. It's just like, all right, you just being whatever you want to be at that moment, and just focus. When you're in that moment, just focus on that moment. I think a lot of times we're doing things and we're trying to think about other things that we could be doing, should be doing. Why am I doing this?
Or even like thinking about, like for me, the old me probably would have been like, people looking at me take these pictures, like, oh man, he trying to get the good angle, like. But today I was just like, oh yeah, hold on, back up a little. Let me back up. I'm gonna do it this way, just so it's a little more space around you. You get the angle. It's like, he actually know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't do this for a living.
But it doesn't matter because in that moment you're doing everything that a photographer would do. It's like, let me just make sure the lighting, and it's like you weren't thinking about nothing else but let me just get this picture. Yeah, picture.
I'm definitely in a whole different world.
You were. It was great. He had people coming up to him later like, you a photographer? Because I saw how you was taking those pictures over there. And my girl was like, this is how I need you to take pictures.
Like, granted, them pictures could have been trash.
Right. They didn't even know.
But he was so into it that it was like...
It was like, they had to be fine.
They had to be.
The girl walked away smiling. I know they were great. But yeah.
What does it look like for you?
I'd say being present, or not feeling like, okay, I gotta wake up, I gotta do this, I'm on the train, I've gotta go to work, I gotta, what I have to do when I get to work, I'm at work, I gotta do all these things,
stressed already.
Gotta get to lunch.
Just hearing you run down that list, I'm stressed.
Right.
You said the train.
Yeah, so it's it's like existing is being on autopilot, just kind of like waking up, going, doing whatever is on your mental to-do list. Which I learned this before, but I had heard it again yesterday in the conference that the mind is not built to do. It's not meant to multitask. Like our brains are monotask.
All the time.
One thing at a time. And you can only really focus on one thing. So if you're taking
you get
pictures,
stuff done way quicker.
Yeah.
right? And if you do it with a better quality. So if you're taking someone's pictures and getting their angles, like you're so focused on this, one task that you actually do it really well. As opposed to thinking like, all right, what are we gonna do after this?
That's my brain.
what do I have to do later? You know, you're
That's
just like.
me.
So living is, I think, being present, being intentional, and just being like mindful, like of myself. And if I'm doing something, like paying attention to like what's coming up in my thoughts or like in my body, like how do I feel when I'm doing this thing? You know, does this feel good? You know, does it not feel good? And if it feels good, then you know, this is something I can continue to do. But if it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it's aligning with me, then I don't know if this is for me.
You just made me have a realization. I'll tell you about it after the podcast. But
Epiphany.
Message.
oh, that's crazy. Wow. I also have a question after the podcast. But so living for me, kind of the same thing as far as like being present, but I would even go a step further and say like intentionally and confidently being present. Not worrying about, like you said, not worrying about what other people are thinking. Like if I'm out here vlogging, I'm just vlogging. Like like I was just out there vlogging. I think that was the first time that I was really not self-conscious about like, oh, they're probably wondering why I keep recording stuff. It was just like, no, I'm just gonna record everything. And
now you realize people really don't care.
They don't care. They're not looking at me.
If you do it like intentionally, like if you only focusing on this one thing, you doing it good, like they be like supporting it. Like so, like if you out there dancing and you like, oh, he going crazy. Man. They going gassing.
Right.
Like it's just like people don't care. Like just enjoy the moment.
And I think people don't care or people are super interested when they see you caring so much. So it's like if they actually see you caring so much, they're like, hey, what do you do? Like, oh, okay, he really cares about this. Oh,
right.
Wow, all right. And then people get invested because they see you actually care.
Right.
And then it's another thing like. They might be like, oh dang, I would have never did that in public. I would have never did that here. But hey,
since they doing it, I might as well give it a try. Like so I think being confidently in the present and intentionally, just like wherever I go, that's more so like my living. Because I feel like for a long time, not even I feel like, I know for a fact for a very long time, I wasn't doing that.
Yeah, for me, like people, whenever I did something, it was people's voices in the back of my head telling me if it's right or wrong. Instead of me making a decision if it's right or wrong, or if it feels right or wrong.
That's the other thing. We're not really taught to like. We're taught to deem like what's right or wrong, or like if we should be doing it based off of like other people or what society deems as normal or whatever, rather than like what actually feels good to do. And I mean, certain things, of course you need a moral compass, right? But like, as far as just, okay, I'm reading a book instead of doing, I don't know, washing the dishes. Like, I decided to read this book because reading this book in this moment makes me feel good, rather than going over here and doing more work. You know, like, you could deem it as, I shouldn't be doing this right now. I should be like handling the dishes or cleaning up and stuff like that. I mean, that's how my mind usually works. But it's like, this quiet time, this moment of reading feels good. So I'm going to do this. I feel like we're not taught to think like that. We're taught to think good or bad in society. So,
I was going to say it, but never mind, y'all. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is, isn't it kind of interesting how, right, to the living portion, right, it's funny because you have to kind of just exist in the moment for long enough, like so that you're not paying attention to everything else, right? So in that moment
is the moment. That's the thing, right?
But in that moment, you're not like, you're so focused on it, you're not thinking about living, you're not thinking about anything else but this. So in that moment, you're actually just existing, right? So, which is really funny, right? Because you have to just exist in that moment, and then have to almost like hit a switch to look back and be like, wow, I was living in that moment. Like I'm living. Right. So it's almost like you have to just exist to live I don't know, it's just weird. It's just a weird thing. Because I was hearing you guys explain it, and I was like, yeah, you know, you're just focusing on this one thing, and it's like, if you do that for a certain amount of time, people would say you're just existing, right? You're just focusing on this one thing. But if you're doing it with everything you have, you're like being it, right? We wouldn't say you're just existing. We would say you're living.
But I wonder if, well, I guess that is okay. I was gonna say something else, but I guess that does make sense, right? Because the way that we all kind of described existing was we're focused on so many other things that we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to live, right? So we're going through the motions because we're doing all this other stuff, like I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, whatever. And that was really like, I said that weird, but but in order to live, you just have to you have to pause in that moment. So of course we still exist regardless, but like you said, in living, your focus changes. You're no longer focusing on everything that's going on in the world or around you or what you have to do later or whatever. You're focused just solely in that moment, which allows you to be, like literally just be and just be in the moment. And then it is you essentially living. Because at that point, you're being intentional about your focus, I feel like. Let me know if I make sense or not.
No, that makes sense. I do think that makes sense.
So I think that might be like the difference of existing versus living, is that your focus is different.
I agree. Do you guys see it? Do you feel like you see a lot of people who are living, or do you feel like you see people who are mostly people who are just existing, or do you just kind of feel like it's just 50-50?
I feel like
Continue.
Sorry. I feel like I see people who are existing. I feel like I see people trying to live who are actually existing. Like confusing existing with living. And they do it like in a form of like escapism. So, and it'd be like a highlight, and like, it's just different. I don't even know how to explain it, how to articulate it.
It's like
I want to.
the escapism is like the highlight of their day, and then they look at that as it's like living vicariously through somebody. So like that's their moment of living. Because throughout the rest of their life, they're just existing. But they take that as I'm living. But I mean, I feel like this is all subjective too. Because
my living isn't your living.
Exactly. Like just like our journeys are different. It's like in my eyes, you might just be existing, but you might love the life that you live. And it's like I can't fault you for that. I can't judge you for that. It's like if you're happy, then be happy. If you like it, I love it. So yeah, that's my take on it. I do feel like I see a lot of people that are just existing, but it's also hard to tell because like on social media, everybody's living their best life.
Right. Yeah, I think it's more a feel thing, I guess.
Right.
Because I think certain people, when you watch them, if they're not living, they're doing a great job at acting like they're living. Because like everything, like they inspire you enough, which is kind of funny because it doesn't even matter if they inspire you to start living.
Say that again.
So it doesn't matter if they're not living, if they're existing, like if their actions and just existing inspire you to start living.
Well, this will behoove you.
I feel like. Wait, were you gonna say something?
I'm still thinking.
Okay. I don't know because I feel like it does matter if they're not happy in them just existing. But that's more still a subjective thing, right? So like for me, I want you, just because this is the type of person that I am, if I encounter you, I want you to not feel like you're just existing. Like even if we're working together or whatever, Like, if you're just constantly complaining about everything and, like, you're like, oh, I don't like this part of my life, I don't like that part of my life. Like, it matters to me. But you're also motivating me to not do those things or not stay in that place. So it's like, it's still important. Like, you're doing, it's helping me, but also I don't want your suffering
to be the reason,
that I thrive. So
right.
It's like, maybe, you know, at that point, it's like, you know, you want to help the person. You're like, okay, maybe we can try to, you know, grow together or something like that. We could both kind of, but it also, so I think it matters if they don't enjoy the life that they're living, them existing. If they are happy with just existing and they're like, oh my gosh, you know,
I existed today.
Exactly.
Right.
If that's how they feel, then it's like, it doesn't matter if that's what they're doing, because to them, they are living. So who am I to say that they're not?
That's deep.
Yeah, cause the main reason I asked that is because I thought about, whether it's artists, whether it's just entertainers in general. A lot of people, they'll have success in one area, but they hate the fact that they have success in this one area, right? But they're inspiring so many people along the way. So it's like, so they're, by them existing, they're still inspiring other people, even if they're not actually living the life that they want to live. So it was just a random thing that popped in my head. I was just curious.
Yeah.
So I might be existing.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said I might be existing.
Does it bother you?
To just exist, yeah. And then I'll be trying to do so much, so I'm not existing, so I can get out of existence.
That panic mode.
He said, so I'm not existing. That was weird. That was a double entendre right there.
Yeah.
I see this a lot with YouTube is heavily part of my self-care, disclaimer. I see this a lot with like YouTube, like content creators who are always like recording something, right? Because like that's what they need to do to make a living, right? Like I feel like for some of them, and I've watched some of these videos where they're like, you know, I had to take a step back because I wasn't living.
Yeah, I be missing so much trying to capture the moment that it's like,
right.
Like I feel like my eyes and everything is the camera itself. So like if I'm trying to get it, the angle that I see in my head, I never get the angle on my phone. So and then a lot of times I'll be missing the moment trying to get to my camera, and then after I take the picture or do the video, I might try to edit it real quick. So now I'm missing everything else during this time. So it's like it's easier for me to just enjoy it. Like most of the time I'm not on my phone for real. When I'm living, I'm not on my phone for real. But I could go back once I pull the phone out. Let me tell you about this experience that I had. Hopefully I got a couple pictures and I could just I'll piece everything together. But like actually being in the moment and recording and stuff, it's not for me.
Yeah, because I think the experience is for you. Like it's funny. The first thing I thought of was going to. Every time I go to a concert and I try to record a concert, like I'll start off recording and then halfway through it, I'm not looking at my phone anymore, and it's like I'm just holding the phone up and I'm like, let me get the shot again, and I'm like, all right, let me just put the phone down, right, and then I'll put the phone down and then I'll go back to watch the video. The video it never sounds as good as the actual audio, or whatever, and it's like. Of course, I'm trying to capture what I'm feeling right now. I'm not gonna get the feeling on camera.
Right. You can't anticipate like the moments that you like. The moments that I be wanting to capture, I miss them because I'm not able to anticipate what's happening, what's gonna happen. So in order for me to catch them, I have to have my phone out or a camera out the entire time, like just recording. And it's like I don't want to do that. That's not fun to me.
I was gonna say because I'm in this moment. I don't think you can capture the moment and be in the moment at the same time. I don't think you can fully do both.
So here's what I do. Excuse me. So as far as concerts, what I do is I'll like hold my phone like at a certain angle or whatever, and I don't record the whole concert because I'm trying to be there. Also, another thing I do, I don't record the whole time I'm somewhere. Like, I'll do like short videos, capture moments, talk a little bit, then my phone is away. Like, even when we went to go to the Olympic rings, oh, we're here, da da da. Okay, cool. Put my phone away.
Right.
Like, with concerts, I'll hold my phone at a certain angle, and then like, I won't be looking at my phone. So I'll look here, and then I might look down every now and then, but then I'm back wherever I'm at. But I also don't record that for like too long. I put my phone away. Yeah, out and about, I'm not gonna, I don't catch everything. Not everything, I know not everything's meant to be on camera. I might be like, oh dang, I wish we was recording, but I'm not gonna be like, let's capture this again. Everybody,
But some people do that though. They're like, hey, I need you guys to say everything you said the exact same way. Say it from your soul again.
No, I feel like that's too much, and that's stressful. So like, but that's another thing. Like, when people aren't just recording the authentic moment, it's like you want to recreate everything. You want to, it's kind of manufacturing moments so that you could get more views. I'm going to just show y'all what's actually happening. And if you look at it, you look at it. If you don't, you don't. But I recorded this 5 seconds of it. So, but like, that's why even like on car rides, I'll do like maybe a minute or 30 seconds. But other than that, it's like, all right, let's put this away. If I want something, or I feel like, oh yeah, we should record this, I'm gonna just set my camera up on a tripod and just let it go. That's it. If it, whatever it captures, it captures. And I also don't post while I'm there. Like, I wait until later. Like, that's why, this is why y'all be getting my vlogs and stuff late, because I'm trying to, if I'm there, I'm there. So you'll get it later when you get it.
Because it's almost like you're trying, so you're in the moment and you're also trying to like edit the moment while you're in it, which is like a weird because it's like, all right, this is what I see, but like, let me make sure I get the perfect angle, because like they're not gonna see it from this angle. Let me make sure it's like you're editing while you're in the moment, and it's like it's hard to do that
because the moment's still happening.
Granted, some people like even with the Kanye doc, his friend was recording his entire almost all the time, right? So it's like you're bound to get some of the highlights, but some of the moments there's some moments he just can't actually capture on camera just because of where he's at, or he may have missed out and been like, dang, I don't even remember it looking like this. I don't even remember the energy feeling like this in this room. Right. So it's like, it's a balance. I think you can do it and still be happy, but I think it just depends on what you're trying to do.
I agree. I prefer to just be in the moment though. I do want to like just take mad pictures though.
Yeah, I do too, because my memory be.
But that's why I record so much. Like my sister used to always be like, "Why you always record stuff?" Because like I want to remember this stuff. So that's why like I'll just take out my phone randomly and just start recording. Like, that's just who I am. I've always been like that. But I'm not, it's just like this is what's happening right now. I'm not gonna like force it or anything. And I'm still in the moment. I'll make sure that I'm still in the moment, or I'll step out of the moment to do the quick video of whatever portion, and then I'll step back into it, like, and put my phone away, because I know that it's important that I'm actually like really present here, because that's what the real memory lives in my head. This is just something to remind me of the memory that's already in my head.
Because then it'll just kind of like jog the feelings back. You know, snap. I saw this picture. It reminded me, they sang this exact part. Right. I remember everybody. He made this joke right here, and it was hilarious. You had to be there.
Yeah. But that's the other thing. Like, that's why when you show people stuff, and then it'd be like, or you tell somebody a joke, and you be like, oh, you had to be there. Because even if you captured it on camera, if you weren't there for like the moment right before the joke happened or whatever, then you still might not understand what the joke means. So it's just like, it's cool, but it's just going to trigger your memory to be like, oh, this also happened that day. Or let me tell you why we even wound up here. Like, if you're talking to your grandkids or something like that. I'm ready for that. Be like, I'm gonna just be showing them all these random videos. Now we
BET movie.
right here, yeah.
And let me tell you how I got it.
Just freezing midair.
Freeze frame.
Y'all might be wondering how I started falling. Let's go back.
You know what's really sad? I know, and I hate to be the person to be like, oh, back in my day, but like kids are not gonna understand why that's so funny.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
because
You
we
don't think
literally what?
They don't really do movies like that no more.
Oh, I thought you were talking about back in my day.
No, like the freeze frame, yeah.
Being like, oh, I know you see me about to bust my butt.
But
Let me tell you,
Deadpool start like that.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
It did,
but
yeah.
Deadpool is
Yeah.
still out. Like we're like little kids. I don't know. It depends.
I was
It
just talking
depends
about
on
more so like the beat, like the beats, especially how BT used to have it.
Yo,
Like,
BET
I know you was
all
wondering
movies.
how I'm about to fall on my face right now.
I know you see these people chasing me.
Or they start
This is
with
how it all started.
like they be peeing in the room.
Oh yeah.
With the oldies playing.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy because you could be like, I already know how this movie about to go
Right.
as soon as it starts, but I'm gonna watch it
That's
though.
when you go. Yeah, that's that on that, people. And the thing stopped,
Yeah.
so y'all want to wrap it up?
Do y'all have any final thoughts on like living, existing, changing, growing?
Nah, I think I'm alright, man. I think I'm alright.
You want to tell the people where they can find you?
Yeah, let me just. I have to remember what my handle is.
Just wondering how I got But thank you guys for coming to another episode of the Grae Area podcast. I am one of the hosts. I'm Damani. I'm here with my people, Shakoya D, B and Breeze, and our special guest here. You guys can follow us on all social medias and subscribe, like, comment, share, do all that lovely stuff. And
Yeah, we out.
Bye.